What if you were told that the world as you knew it was not as it seemed? Imagine the late 15th century, a time when most believed the earth was flat, that the only way to reach the east was to travel east. But nestled within this belief, a question began to stir, a question that would change the world as we know it. But what if there was another way? This was the question that Christopher Columbus dared to ask himself. Christopher Columbus, an audacious Italian explorer, dared to challenge this belief. His journey started in the cobbled streets of Genoa, Italy, where he was born in the mid-15th century. Raised in a family of wool weavers, young Columbus was drawn not to looms, but to the lure of the sea. As he grew, so did his thirst for adventure and knowledge. His life took a turn when he stumbled upon the idea that the east could be reached by sailing west. Contrary to the popular belief of his time that the earth was flat, Columbus held a firm conviction that our planet was round. He believed that a shorter route to Asia could be found not by traveling east, but by braving the uncharted waters of the Atlantic and sailing west. And so, with this revolutionary idea, Columbus was driven by a burning desire to prove his theory. With a burning desire to prove his theory, Columbus set out to find a sponsor for his journey. But finding a sponsor wasn't easy for Columbus. Imagine a world where the farthest you've traveled is perhaps the next town over. Then someone comes along with an audacious plan to sail across the great unknown. This was the predicament Columbus found himself in. His idea was radical, unproven, and to many downright ludicrous. Monarchs across Europe were approached. Each time the response was a resounding no. They scoffed at the idea, dismissing it as a fool's errand. Undeterred, Columbus continued his quest for sponsorship. His relentlessness led him to the doorstep of the Spanish monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella. Despite the skepticism and the rejections, Columbus managed to convince them of his vision. It was a gamble, but they decided to take a chance. And so the Spanish crown agreed to sponsor Columbus's daring expedition. With the Spanish crown's support, Columbus was finally ready to embark on his journey. On August 3rd, 1492, Columbus and his crew set sail from Spain. The day was marked with a sense of anticipation, hope and fear of the uncharted waters ahead. Columbus, a man of unwavering resolve, led this voyage on 3 ships that would go on to etch their names in the annals of history: the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. The Santa Maria, the largest of the 3, served as Columbus's flagship. A robust carrack, she bore the weight of leadership and the dreams of a new world. The Pinta and the Nina, both smaller caravels, were no less significant. They were nimble and swift, perfect for exploration and the unpredictable waters of the Atlantic. As the ships sailed further from the familiar coastline of Spain, a myriad of challenges began to surface. The vast and seemingly endless ocean stretched out before them, a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. Supplies dwindled, morale wavered, and the crew faced the harsh realities of sea travel. The relentless waves, the unyielding winds, and the glaring sun tested the mettle of every man on board. Yet, Columbus, the steadfast leader, held the crew together. His unwavering faith in the voyage, his unyielding determination, and his visionary dreams of a new route to the east served as a beacon of hope amidst the uncertainty. His presence was a reminder of the purpose of their journey and the potential rewards that lay ahead. The journey was not without its share of dissent and disagreement. There were murmurs of mutiny, whispers of turning back, yet Columbus quelled the unrest with a blend of authority and promise of glory. He reminded them of the riches that awaited them, the fame that would follow, and the potential of a new world. Despite the trials and tribulations, Columbus and his crew sailed on, holding on to the hope of discovering a new route to the east. Their eyes were set on the horizon, their spirits buoyed by the promise of the unknown, and so the voyage continued, each day bringing them closer to their destiny. On October 12th, 1492, after more than 2 months at sea, land was spotted. Excitement surged through the weary crew as the cry of "Land ho!" echoed across the wooden decks of the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. The long, treacherous journey across the uncharted ocean was finally at an end. As dawn broke, the ships drew closer, the unfamiliar landscape coming into focus. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze, while the sun's first rays glistened on the white sands and turquoise waters of the island. This was a sight quite unlike anything they had ever seen before. Columbus, resplendent in his admiral's uniform, was the first to step foot on this new land. He planted the flag of Spain into the soft earth, claiming this territory for his sponsors, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. Then he fell to his knees, offering a prayer of thanks for their safe arrival. They were met with curiosity by the indigenous people, the Lucayans, who peered out from behind the lush foliage. They were a peaceful tribe, their golden skin adorned with intricate tattoos. Columbus, believing he had reached the East Indies, referred to these indigenous people as Indians. Over the following days, Columbus and his crew explored the island, which Columbus named San Salvador, meaning Holy Savior. They marveled at the rich biodiversity, the lush vegetation, and the exotic wildlife. Columbus wrote in his journal about the beauty of the island and the friendliness of its people, expressing his belief that he had indeed found a new route to the East Indies. Yet, despite the beauty and bounty of San Salvador, Columbus was not content. He pressed on, exploring other islands in the region, driven by the relentless pursuit of gold and spices. This pursuit would ultimately lead him to the vast mainland of the Americas. Little did Columbus know he had stumbled upon a new world, a world that was not the East Indies he had set out to find, but a world that would forever change the course of human history. Columbus's journey marked the beginning of sustained European contact with the Americas. With this monumental voyage, the world as it was known began to shift, like the tides beneath Columbus's ships. The repercussions of Columbus's voyage were far-reaching and indelible, shaping the course of history in ways that could never have been foreseen. Columbus's discovery of the New World sparked a flurry of subsequent voyages, as Europe's powers were drawn to the Americas' untapped riches. Spain, Portugal, England, and France, among others, embarked on a race for the unexplored territories, setting the stage for the age of exploration. This era saw a boom in navigation technology, as well as a surge in global trade and cultural exchange. Yet the realization that Columbus had discovered a new continent was not immediate. It was Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian explorer, who first proposed that the lands discovered by Columbus were part of a separate continent, a new world, distinct from Asia. The Americas were later named after Vespucci, but it was Columbus who first set sail into the unknown, paving the way for this momentous discovery. Columbus's journey is a tale of daring and determination, of a man who defied the odds and ventured into the vast unknown, driven by his unwavering belief in a westward route to Asia. It was a journey fraught with challenges and uncertainties, yet Columbus and his crew persevered, forever altering our understanding of the world. Let's not forget the indigenous people who inhabited these lands long before Columbus's arrival. Their history, rich and diverse, was forever altered by this encounter. The impact of European contact was profound, often devastating, marking the beginning of centuries of colonization and conflict. In the wake of Columbus's journey, the world map was redrawn, the global stage was reset, and the course of history was forever altered. The voyage marked the beginning of a new chapter in human history, one that continues to shape our world today. As we look back on the story of Columbus, we're reminded of the power of curiosity, of the courage it takes to question the status quo, and of the impact one person can have on the course of history. We're reminded that our understanding of the world is ever evolving, shaped by the brave individuals who dare to explore, to question, and to dream. Christopher Columbus, the man who dared to question, had indeed changed the world as it was known.